Alright everybody, welcome back to Street City Studio. I'm John. Today we're going to talk a little bit about my Vader figures, Darth Vader. Right? In yesterday's video, most of my feedback revolved around Darth Vader collections. Seems like everybody has a Darth Vader collection, and I'm not even really surprised. It's kind of the reason I left him out of yesterday's video. Which gives me the chance to make the video today. Like I said, I wasn't too surprised. Everybody loves Vader. So let's jump right into it and talk about my Vader figures. Now I am going to include my Anakin figures as well. And I'm not going to include some of my older, less articulated figures and non-action figure things. Like I have a Darth Vader piggy bank that just kind of collects dust, but I'm not going to include all that stuff, right? Let's just kind of see what we got here. Alright. So, one of my favorite figures is kind of a 2-in-1, and I treat it like a 2-in-1. Right. It's the Mustafar fight Anakin figure that separates off into his surgery Anakin, and his arms swap out and his feet come off. Right, I kind of leave his feet on so that he stands good on this table. I don't have a lot of shelf space, so I don't normally keep it in the flattened out position like this. So if I take his feet off, he doesn't quite sit how I want him to on the shelf. But that's one of my favorite figures, and I kind of keep this plastic piece in here just to hold his arms in place and hold his head in place. Right. But since I kept that plastic, it's able to kind of stand and fill a gap on the shelf as if it were a figure. Oh, his arm won't go back in now. Let's see about that. There we go. So he'll kind of stand in the background on my shelf as a hooded Anakin, but I really like this table scene. Let's kind of move him over here. I'll throw him back there. And next up, we got little kid Anakin, and I really like this figure. Mostly for the accessories he came with, right? The training ball and the helmet. And I would like this figure better if the likeness on mine was better. I don't know about the ones you guys got. Maybe some of these paint jobs look better or worse. But mine doesn't look very fantastic. Let's see if we can zoom in here on him. That's not zooming good. Get a real camera and stop using my phone. So while that figure, the face isn't great on it, the rest of the figure, the accessories, I really love it. And he keeps the helmet on anyway, so you can hardly see. But he's an essential figure, and the rest of the figure is great. It's just that face paint. Just that face doesn't quite look right. We'll go with my next chronological Anakin. And this is probably one of my favorite Anakins that I have. And I don't know if everybody else loved this figure or not. I know it was kind of a peg warmer. But I really like that he came with both hands, right? The robot hand and the human hand. His cloak is perfect. I can't even tell you how many hours I've spent sitting here playing with the cloak and trying to get it into perfect positions for different scenes. Right, a relaxed position and action poses, positions. And I really don't, I don't understand what they did here to make these flaps. But they work. They work real well. And they have to be positioned just right. You have to play with them a little bit. But once you do, when you do, if you get them to sit right, man, it looks good. I'm a big fan of it. I'm not a big fan of his hoodie. His hood doesn't sit very well, no matter how you play with these things, I think. But the rest of it's great. Move on to a longer haired version. Now I got this robe on him just to kind of hide. This is not the movie version. This is that concept Clone Wars coloring with the more blue to his tunic there. And I really don't like the coloring on it. But aside from this guy over here, that's my long-haired Anakin. God knows that that vintage collection Lord Vader version is expensive. I'm not even going to try and chase that. But once I put that hood on him, or the robe on him, it looks fine. It hides that blue. I don't even mind the grayness to his robes. It really should match the brown on his skirt there, but that blue tunic really bugs me. But the head looks good. Like I said, once you put this robes on him, it hides it all real well. It just looks like Anakin again. Angry-faced Anakin. Who are we gonna go with next? This one. Next up, I believe this is Empire Vader, and I remember when this figure came out, it was kind of the best Vader out because of that fake chain and the soft goods skirt, right? But the articulation's about on par with some of those other older Vaders. Just that nice cape, nice skirt. And as far as looking good, it does. I think the Vaders before didn't quite have that chain, but even that chain doesn't quite sit how I want it. It doesn't quite photograph how I want. But at the time, I remember thinking it looked great. And I think next up, we will go with the final fight scene Vader with his removable helmet. And now I know they just released a updated version of this. And I gotta say, I was gonna get it, and I might still get it, but I really don't like that Sebastian Shaw head, or not Sebastian Shaw, the actor. I don't like the actor head. Right, this one just looks way better. Now this one doesn't have the removable hand, like that one, and that'd be nice. But this one looks great. I got no real complaints about it. It's got less articulation than some of these modern ones in the hips and stuff. But that's kind of the final fight scene Vader. You don't really need him doing a lot of action poses, right? For me, at least. With his helmet off, right? All he needs to be able to do is flop down on the ground there like that. Right? He's not doing too much more once you take his helmet off. And so the lack of a lot of hip articulation on him really doesn't bug me at all. It's more about how he looks in the poses that he needs to be in. And that new Vader just doesn't look great in the face. I almost feel like they do that on purpose so that they can release the same figure again and still get some sales. But I don't know how you could get it right and then backpedal. But they do sometimes, and it is what it is. I think I'm just a little cynical today, maybe. But next up, we got that Rogue One, red-eyed Vader. And he's not the best, but he really does look good with those red eyes and those hand positions. And that's kind of why I got him. And his hard skirt doesn't look as good as the soft skirts. He doesn't have the chain, but he does have those red eyes. If I want to make some red-eyed photography, he's the one I need to go for, right? And that was kind of the thought. And now, the pinnacle. The best Vader in my collection is quite probably the best Vader in your collection as well, unless you collect Black Series. But as far as 3 3/4 goes, I think everybody's in agreement that this new highly articulated Vader from the vintage collection, man, that's the one to get. There we go. But one of the things I noticed about this Vader that really stands him apart is that he can keep a lightsaber on his belt. And he came with an unlit lightsaber. And I'm not sure if it's all of them, but a lot of these Vaders can't hold a belt on their hip, or hold a lightsaber on their belt on their hip. Nothing. No hole. Why? And I kind of get it. We didn't see him carrying a lightsaber on his hip a lot until we do. But once I got this one, that little detail really stands out to me on the other ones now. And one of the things I really like is his shoulder armor too, because that shoulder armor really gives him the ability to move without breaking up the look of the armor. Right? Some of these other guys can move just as fine, but the way they broke that armor up, it just doesn't look as good. Right. But the leg articulation is really what gets this guy above the others, right? There's a couple little details like the unlit saber on his belt. But he looks so good. I think he even has a little bit of red in his eyes too. Just not as much as this one. Gotta hit it with just the right light. Yeah, I definitely think between all of these, my favorite would be this Anakin and this Vader. Right, those are the pinnacle Vader figures for me, or at least in my price range. Like I said, I can't afford that Darth Vader from the vintage collection. But this one's perfect, right? For his fight against the Tuscans in revenge for his mother's death. Right? That's a pivotal scene for him. I like to try and recreate that. And actually, that's one of the reasons, or the only reason, that I bought this Tuscan from that scene with the removable head. Otherwise, I'd have just got normal Tuscans. But I really like those removable limb gimmicks. I know there's a lot of removable arms. Wampa with a removable arm. And, the Barsine alien with his hand cut off from Obi-Wan. What's his name? I can never remember that guy's name. That's alright. You guys know what I'm talking about, I'm sure. Alright. I probably won't spend too much more time on this. Let's zoom out here a little bit and get a group shot. Well, I appreciate you guys joining me. Keep playing with them toys. I'll see you again soon.